That's last time
All right, we're live.
and it didn't upload.
Are we live? Are we live?
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure. Oh, I want to make sure now. Last time that didn't happen.
Oh, it's moving.
Moving?
And
Hey,
we're live.
We're live.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
Hello and welcome to your weekly dose of mayhem, the only show where we interview Mr. Physics, the creator of physics.
He did
I can
that.
hear myself. Okay, he did the Mr. Coben, FRC mentor and general good guy, and he does physics.
Yeah,
I would like to clarify that I did not actually invent physics. Just to clarify.
You didn't invent it, but you created it, right?
I did not actually do that either, but
I
nevertheless.
see. Okay.
When I walked into your physics room on freshman year, you handed me a binder and said, "I made this for you."
And it had physics in it.
And there was physics in it.
So
And there you have it.
You also said-
ipso facto, ergo sum.
You also looked at my name tag and said, "Hey Nate, what's your name?"
that's great. That's a good introduction.
That's Mr. Coben. Tate, we did it. Mr. Coben's on the podcast now.
Great.
Hi, Tate.
Tate, he's been begging for this for months.
All right, we should actually get into the
Okay,
questions.
we'll actually ask you a question. Who are you and what do you do?
I am Mr. Philip Coburn, and I teach physics here at Nichols School, and I've been doing that, teaching physics to freshmen for 21 years, for a while. And for the last 11 years, I have been helping to lead the FRC 4930 Electric Mayhem Robotics team.
Well, you answered the next question.
Everything else that I do is trivial.
You answered the next question by yourself. How long have you been on the team?
11 years. 11 years. 11 years.
We've never heard that before.
Yes, that was.
Trick question.
All right, we'll just get it with the second biggest question of all time. All
Yes.
right? The second biggest one. Game predictions.
Predictions. Well, I think we might be due for dealing with something kind of large and awkward. I wonder if it's time for something that's not. No, about that. I'm a little worried about large. I think there might be something large and awkward, and I think it might be not nearly as many choices as there were last year.
Yeah. What did you compare it to last night when I asked you the same question? What was the game you compared it to? The second game we
Aerial assist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was with the big exercise.
The big exercise balls, and the size of the ball was just about the size of the robot, so there weren't a lot of options.
I actually looked at the review video, a video of that robot picking up those balls, just because I saw it. And it was like the third video ever uploaded on the YouTube channel.
Woo!
So
Nice.
yeah, that was really. Thank you for that.
Good answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
Continue.
Let's move on.
Glad I got that one right.
Yes.
Yes.
So we would have mentioned this last week, but then YouTube didn't like the podcast and it didn't upload it. But we would have talked about this.
Curse your YouTube.
So we've had a couple weeks of FLC meetings now. How do you think they've been going so far?
I am never completely satisfied, but I'm literally never completely satisfied. But I've been pretty happy with a lot of the aspects of how things have been going. I am going to risk running ahead and answering a lot of other questions, so I might let you ask a follow-up question.
Okay, I'm gonna just ask the next one on the list then.
Sure.
So this year we also would have talked about this last week, but then YouTube. This year we started the role system. What was kind of the idea behind that? Because you were kind of the one who spearheaded that.
Gotcha. So, we've done a lot of good things in the past, but one thing that I feel like we've never quite nailed is that, particularly when we get to competitions, but also in the lab, not every student feels ownership of some aspect of the team and the work, and they often don't know what to do next when they finish what they've been doing. And when they get to competition, beyond scouting, they sort of don't have a purpose.
Have it display
Hi, Anthony.
all of them.
Hi, Anthony.
Separately.
Quiet on the set. Quiet on the set. Take him outside.
We're still live.
Your episode was 2 weeks ago. Calm down.
All right, continue.
I'll be honest, I was definitely inspired by Rolling Thunder 1511. They have assigned roles. Everybody that makes it onto everyone that goes to a competition has a particular thing that they're doing at the competition. And I sort of worked backwards from that idea, thinking, okay, what are people going to be doing at competition? What do those roles look like? But then also, what are things that happen in the meantime? And can we put students in charge of those things so that they really feel ownership of them, and they're not just waiting for someone else to tell them what to do? They're saying, oh, well, I'm in charge of branding. What do I need to do next to improve our brand? Or, I'm in charge of the shop. What do I need to do? What needs organizing?
Right. And part of the roles this year, obviously you have stuff like impact and drive team and designer for the robot, but you also have stuff like logistics and hospitality and stuff. So one of the big things, if this is correct, is to get more of the students involved in sort of managing how we get to competitions, what we do at competitions. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and especially I'm looking at the list of roles right now. Especially the project manager role. That was a role normally taken on by a mentor, specifically you, which has been taken on by 4 students this year. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. So far, it's been going well. They ran last night's meeting.
They did a great job.
Pretty much by themselves.
Did a great job getting us rolling with last night's meeting. And then I think there's also another level of project management that we need to get to that maybe they don't even know about, and I'm still learning about. Just last night, we were putting together a prototype arm, which I think we're going to talk about more later. But we made a change to that arm to switch from one motor to another. And that is a decision that impacted our timetable. We finished a lot. We're behind where we would be if we hadn't made that change. That's a decision that should have gone through the project managers, and that they should have overseen whether that decision was the right decision to make or not. And I think that's another level of direction that we'd love to see them take ownership of over time.
Yeah, and me personally, I've seen a lot more students get involved with stuff like getting people to transport us, like bus companies and catering for stuff like that. And that's usually stuff that I wouldn't even think about, but it's a big part of like managing how we go to competitions and how we compete.
That's exactly right. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into it, and those are professional grade skills. So we don't want to hold you guys back from learning them.
Also, just comparing the meetings we've had so far this year to all of last year, I remember last year seeing a lot of students kind of just waiting around being told what to do, and not just kind of waiting around not doing anything until they are given a job. But this year, now that everyone's got a role, I'm seeing a lot less of that, because everyone seems to know exactly what they should be doing.
That makes me very happy. That was a huge purpose behind the role.
I've noticed that. I can't speak for the whole team, because I've noticed that on my side of the lab and the mechanical side. But from what I've seen, everyone seems to know what to be doing, or getting ready to do what they know what they have to do.
Sounds great.
So we've had a lot of, speaking of things that are getting done, we've had a lot of sub-team preseason progress trainings and such. How do you think that's been going?
I'm really pleased with the progress so far. I feel like in the shop, kids are really building their skills. There's been, I had a group that learned how to work with chain, and we haven't put chain onto a competitive robot in a couple of years. And so in a couple of years, that means we don't have any students that know how to deal with that. And now we have 6 students that have put together a chain, broken apart chain, understand some of the challenges of chain, understand the issues with stretch and having to remove links, maybe put a chain tensioner on. So like that's a nice little step forward. I feel like there's been all kinds of progress. The programmers have a really good foundation, I think, of what code on a robot looks like, and they're closing in very quickly on working on both autonomous programming and on coding our new arm. And one of the goals for the last couple of preseason meetings is for them to figure out how to control that arm better than ever. We've always had arms, we've had control of the arm, but can we learn how to control it even better?
Right.
Speaking of the oh wait, I'll let you finish.
I just wanted to say, one of the main challenges that people don't really think about when they think of a robotics team is the fact that you constantly have new people joining and old people leaving. And so you want to have a way to make sure that everyone, as they come in, they know what they're doing and they know stuff that the old people, if not told, will lose.
Right.
So that's different from, like, say, a regular company where you'd just have staff. You need to make sure that everyone knows what's doing, and that involves documentation and training. So that's a big part of the preseason itinerary.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is something I don't think a lot of people consider when they think about robotics, is that you do only have 4 years on the team, and once everything that you knew, if you did not tell someone, it's gone after you graduate. So
yeah,
that's a Speaking of the new arm, what was the? Oh wait, I have to give you this.
Another good answer.
Good answer.
That's the good answer counter.
That's a good... what was the idea behind the arm, and how do you think that training's been going?
So I alluded to it earlier. It's a dual role. It is taking students that are new to the mechanical side of things and giving them a chance to actually put together a system that moves, which is always just a little bit more complicated than people realize. And so it's giving them a great chance to learn and fail a little bit, as one does when learning, with putting together just a basic rotary arm motion. I would say that even bigger impetus was to give the programmers a physical system that they don't have to worry about breaking because it's not part of a real robot, but that gives them all the opportunity that they could want to improve their ability to control an arm. A couple of years ago, we had a hood shooter on our robot that could adjust to shoot higher or lower. And when they programmed it, we were able to get the hood to go to the right angle like this. It would go and then fall and go and come, and it would always come back to the right spot, but it didn't stay there.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge. That's not a trivial problem to figure out. How do you get it to go there and lock in staying there? And so we really wanted to have that be a particular problem that was that we developed solutions to before the season comes.
Yeah, so as someone who's been kind of, well, I want to say working, kind of observing and advising on that training, it's been going well, and we have been building for the first time in a while with the programmers in mind. So we knew that we had to put in a through-bore encoder on the arm, and like you said earlier, we had to change that motor, because originally we were going to run one of our old sim motors on it, which has a lot less control. And also, if to use the through-bore encoder, which comes from Rev, you would have had to route it back to the Rio because you didn't have the spark to route it to. But then we switched to the Rev motor, and now we could route the through-bore encoder straight to the motor controller.
Exactly.
Which set us back, but for the programmers, it's going to be a lot easier.
Well, and the nice thing is the programmers now have the opportunity. They can choose to route it straight to the motor controller, or they can go back to the Robo Rio, and we can actually have them do it both ways and compare, which is the kind of testing that a lot of teams do that it represents for us the next frontier of becoming more advanced. Not just choosing something because it's the easiest, but choosing it because we've tried it both ways and we know which one is better.
And in addition to that, more than just connecting it from to the Spark versus to the Rio, one of the things that we discussed is comparing the through bore to the built-in encoder that's in the motor and seeing does the gear ratio and like the mechanical problems of the gears and like the shifting between, does that cause inaccuracies versus the through bore that's directly on the output.
Yeah, on the output of that.
And so that's something that we are wishing to measure next time.
Yeah, that's a great, another good example of sort of next level comparing two options and figuring out which one's better, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses.
Yeah, that's a good reason that was our reasoning behind the arm, and also to train people on how to build something that moves so that they can mess up and break as much as they want because it's not the actual robot.
Yep.
And speaking of new people we're trying to train. How do you think the training for the new folks on the team is going?
I think it's going pretty well. I feel like we're hitting them on a lot of fronts. We start off with right from day one safety training. We got sort of everybody up to speed on safety training, which I feel really good about. Everybody who's joined the team has had basic CAD training, so that everybody's had some exposure to that. And I think that's great because for some people, they just light up when they see what they can create on CAD, and they might not even know it until they do it. So I'm really excited that everyone's getting a chance to do that. And then even if some people decide it's probably not where they want to spend a lot of time and become an expert, it's a great thing for them to understand what other people are doing, even if they don't end up doing it themselves. I also feel like even for the new students, they have a bigger challenge with the roles because they haven't seen the team operate, so they're less certain of what something is and or what it could look like. But even for them, I think having sort of coming in and having that designation gives them like a realm to focus on and figure out like, oh, I need to know more about this. Tell me more, help me learn, what opportunities are there?
I think it also probably gives them a reason to kind of stick around and stick it through the learning curve, because you have a job to do and you have to. If you don't do it, you're going to let some people down. So it kind of gives them a sense of purpose in that way. One
of the other neat things about the new students is that some of our new students are bringing more new students along. Mm-hmm. We've had, I think, a more steady trickle of people joining, almost like a student a week comes to check us out, and we're really excited about that.
I want to shout out Gabe. Gabe is a freshman this year. He was on the FTT team, and he's brought like 3 new students with him when he joined the FRC team. So thank you, Gabe.
Well done, Gabe. Good job. Absolutely.
Here's a big question. I would say probably the third biggest question. What are your goals for the season?
Well, my fundamental goal never changes. I'm here to build students by building through robots. How is it? Boy, did I blow that one.
Maya, get a load of this guy. He doesn't know the impacts.
We're here to use robots to build students. There we go.
Instead of
using students to build robots. So that's always the goal.
We got that.
And I would say that a big goal for me for this year is empowering the students with more and more responsibility and learning how to support that so that they are ready to take up that responsibility. Obviously, the roles is a big part of that. But last year was our first time that students really led the design process. And we're growing in that, and so it's another year for students to really take the lead on the design process, students taking the lead on project management, and telling the mentors, nope, we're not doing that. Yep, we're doing that. Like, I'm excited about that, even though it's going to be very challenging for both, I think, the mentors and the students to learn how to do that better and to do it in real time. But I'm excited about that. So a major goal is to turn over more responsibility, but then support the students in a way that they're ready to take that responsibility on.
Yeah, that is just everything we've done so far in the preseason is leading up to a pretty big shift in how the team is run, but I think it's going to be a shift for the better. So that was also a really good answer.
All right, next question.
This episode brought to you by Arizona Mucho Mango. The mango cocktail, the juice cocktail.
For those of you who don't know, he really likes mucho mango, so we're providing. I was running to the corner store to make sure that I could get these before you arrived, so I could hide them. And we're gonna wrap up soon. But what event are you most excited for?
Wow. This may just be short-sighted of me, but I'm super excited for kickoff. And for kickoff this year, we're going to do some things that we've done in the past and some new things. We've always met with other local teams in Buffalo that are interested to view the game, to break it down, to really understand it, and to do what's our favorite part of kickoff, which is the live game simulation. So I'm really excited about that. But I'm really excited for that evening. People who want to from the team are going to stick around for a kind of hardcore strategy session where we try and nail out, like, what is our robot going to do this year? And the very next day, we're going to get adults and friends of the team and a whole bunch of people in to build the field elements while students are here starting to prototype. And I'm just excited about the launch that's going to get us for the season. And besides, new game.
It's always fun.
Always fun.
Yeah.
Having Mr. Blair, John Firsters, we call him, tell us what the game is always the best part. Always a fun way to start this season. Okay.
Exactly.
Also, Brady, what's tomorrow?
Mock kickoff.
Mock kickoff.
Mock kickoff.
Well, we do kickoff, but it's not. It's an old game. And so obviously we all know kickoff this year. They're gonna say, remember, this year boats are only allowed to have one motor because it's going to be a water game this year.
Right.
Clearly,
Yeah.
everyone knows.
So I've been building up to it for weeks and weeks now.
Yeah.
This whole podcast, the biggest question of all time: would you rather have unlimited mucho mango, but no more water game, or water game? Unlimited water games, but no water game.
But no Mujo Mango?
But no water game.
They have successfully stumped me. I don't understand the question well enough to answer it. Clearly, the answer is unlimited Mucho Mango.
Yay! Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
End the stream.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.